Hi guys, Everyday Knife Guy here, and today I wanted to share something a little bit different with you. A book review, or maybe just a book recommendation. This is a true life story that I've read a couple of times over the last few years, and if you are watching this channel, there's a good chance you may have an interest in the outdoors, survival, wilderness stuff, and if you do, I'd highly recommend giving this a read. I know a lot of us find a lot less time these days for books than maybe we used to. We have things like YouTube that eat up our time, work and playing with knives, all that sort of stuff. But if you do find time for a read, definitely recommend this. It's kind of, I guess, a fantasy for a lot of people to give up their daily grind and just take off to the wilderness, do the survival thing, subsistence living. And this is a story of a guy and his wife who actually did that. They moved from the south of England, a very cozy, comfortable life. He was an artist. I think she was maybe an editor. It's a while since I've read this, so yeah, and I don't want to give away too many details, just the basics of what the story is. So they take off for the Yukon, as you can probably tell by reading the cover there, and they are pretty novice at the survival thing and what they might need to do in that sort of life, but they make it work. And it's pretty much a feel-good story, but it's also very interesting to read their accounts of the people and the wildlife they meet and how they deal with their situation. Quite a few life and death situations, and yeah, it's always interesting to think about how you would deal with those yourself, and whether you could actually hack it in this sort of life. So that's the basic synopsis of it. They take off for Canada. They give up their life and jobs in the UK, take off for Canada. Don't have a lot of money. They have enough to buy some wheels and a few supplies, a canoe, and then they take off for the Yukon and eventually set themselves up in a cabin that they refurbish and rebuild. So there's a lot of information on you know, how he learns that sort of wilderness carpentry, what they do about food, you know, hunting, storing meat for the winter, and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's really pretty interesting. There's a few pictures on the cover there. This is their travels. There's their cabin at the top, their dog there, which is a bit of an issue with the porcupines, I think. And I think there's just a basic map here of their route in Canada. Don't know how clearly you can see that, but yeah, not a lot of detail there. And other than that, it is just basically a good, pretty humorous read, and yeah, definitely highly recommended. And if you do like that, there is a sequel, which is this one here, and this is where as you can probably tell from the title, where they actually get into a pursuit that the Yukon's pretty famous for, and how their attempts at sort of modern day gold panning work out. And yeah, I can't remember this one as well. I think I've read this a few times, this maybe just once, but it was a pretty funny book, definitely worth a read. And again, pretty interesting, like how do you actually you know, get started in that sort of business, and can you make a living gold panning as well as subsistence living in the Klondike? So yeah, definitely would recommend this one if you like that. This one too. On Amazon.com, I think this is only around $6.50, so it's really not expensive. And I'm assuming there's probably a Kindle version as well if you're into that. But if I'm reading a book, I personally prefer the traditional hard copy. So only about $6, and if you're into wilderness outdoor stuff, definitely worth a look. I think there was going to be a third book. I don't know. I seem to remember in the back of my mind that he actually moved on from the gold and got into distilling, maybe in vodka distilling, I seem to remember, and that kind of got in the way of time to write the third book. So I don't think there is a third one. I think there was one planned, but maybe if you're familiar with the series, maybe you can correct me on that. I didn't see it on Amazon, so I assume the third one was never written. But these two are good, and I definitely recommend. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you do read them or have read them, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. As always, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks very much.